Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Episode 9 of the Noiseless Madman podcast. I am, of course, the Noiseless Madman, also known as Ryan, R-Y-A-N. And unfortunately, I do realize that there's been some time has gone by since my last episode. Though I had not intended for that amount of time to pass, it just kind of happened, just kind of got away from me. Also, too, because I really had nothing much to talk about. So for this episode, first thing I wanted to mention was a bit of sad news, which I guess you could say also kind of affected me and also kind of made me, not want to talk about it right away, but unfortunately it did happen. I am, of course, speaking about the recent passing of Instagram model and Snapchat queen, Miss Katie May. And now I know a lot of you might be thinking to yourself, what's the big deal? She was, just a model, or whether you're familiar with her or not. The point is that, if you're like me and you tend to follow, a certain amount of people, well, we all do this, on social media. We follow, our favorite artists, musicians, writers, models, actors, actresses. And we, in a sense, we feel close to them. Now, obviously, I know there's a lot of people who don't consider social media to be very personable, or, it's not the same thing as having face-to-face interaction with somebody. And granted, I get that. I'm sure we all get that. But still, just because, you're following, you only have contact with your favorite artist or performer or, whoever, just because you only have contact with them through social media, that doesn't mean, that you don't have some kind of connection to them. Even before social media existed, and which I'm sure a lot of you will agree, way before social media existed, or even the internet, large part of what made us feel close to our favorite bands or our favorite actors, is that, we went out, we purchased the albums, we purchased their movies, or saw them in the theaters, saw them in concert, and it made us feel close to them. I mean, let's just put that out there. I mean, at least for me, it always made me feel close. Excuse me, close to the bands, and also close to my favorite actors and whatnot. So the same thing with social media. Just because we don't have face-to-face interaction with our favorite bands or favorite actors, favorite writers, that doesn't mean that we don't feel some kind of connection with them, some kind of kinship with them. Now, I'm not going to say that I personally knew this model, Katie May, but yeah, I was following her on Instagram, also on Snapchat and Twitter, and from time to time I check out her Facebook page. And yeah, I'm going to say, definitely what first compelled me to follow her was the fact that, she was attractive. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. She's definitely attractive. So that's what initially compelled me to follow her throughout social media. But the thing that continuously kept me, following her and just interested in, whatever she was doing as far as, creative-wise, whatever she did and various photo shoots and all that. The thing that kept me following her was the fact that she was so personable. She really appreciated all of her followers, and she always made sure to answer as many questions as she could. And I mean, I even know a couple of times I sent her direct messages through Instagram, and I didn't send her anything, stalkerish or mean or hurtful or nasty or anything. Which is, I'm sure she received a lot of that, as do a lot of other models on Instagram. And but I had sent her just a couple, no more than 2 messages, other than I like your recent. I believe the last message I sent her was something about thank you for reminding all of us, what it means to pursue your passion, or it was something like that, something along those lines. I don't remember the entire thing. And she actually replied. She didn't give me this like long, well thought out reply. Well, I guess maybe. But I mean, the point is she actually replied to what I sent her. Whereas, in the past I've sent similar messages to other models and actresses and writers, and they never replied to me. So she was one of the few that actually replied to my messages. And so I guess for me that was another reason why, when I found out, though I didn't find out till at least a week and a half after she had passed away, as to what actually happened. And I was really shocked. I was really blown away. I mean, I didn't just, and I found out through her Instagram account because, it had been some time since I checked it. I mean, I don't really like go on there and just, usually with Instagram, it tends to be like, because I'm following so many people or so many people are following me, I don't bother to just check every single person that's following me. But from time to time, I do check up on certain people, like my favorite models or actresses, writers, and whatnot. So a week and a half after she had passed away, that's when I decided to check out her Instagram account because I hadn't checked it for some time. And then the last picture she had posted, of course, when I scrolled through some of the recent comments, I saw people wrote, R.I.P., rest in peace, I can't believe she's dead. And I saw that and it shocked me, and I was like, what the hell happened? So of course I did a quick Google search, immediately found all the information about what had happened, and I guess apparently this was sometime in early February, might have even been, I think, late January, I guess. She, when she was on a photo shoot, she fell, and I'm not sure exactly where this photo shoot was because there really aren't that many details about said photo shoot, other than she sustained an injury to her neck. She fell, I guess slipped and fell, and I guess apparently sustained an injury to part of her neck where the carotid artery is located. If you don't know what the carotid artery is, just Google it. But let's just say it's a pretty important artery as far as neck wise, and so I guess the next day or it might have been the next day or a couple of days later, she went to a chiropractor of some kind, and he, I guess, massaged it or did whatever, something to her neck, like realigned it or something like that. Because she had even posted something on her Twitter account that her neck was hurting her. She believed it was some kind of pinched nerve, or even though she went to the chiropractor, or she got it realigned, but it was still hurting her. And I guess because of that, it was actually the carotid artery that sustained some kind of injury. Again, the details aren't clear. And I guess because of that, it allowed this blood clot to form in the artery, essentially, blocking the flow of blood. And she then suffered a stroke. She had a stroke. And it seems really bizarre, at least to me, when I read about, because it's very rare, and I even saw something on YouTube where there was a doctor who talked about that it's rare when people in their 30s, she was 34, by the way, it's rare when people in their 30s have a stroke. Not that it doesn't happen, but it's very rare. So that did strike me as odd, as bizarre. But so she unfortunately suffered a stroke, and she was then admitted to the hospital. And I suppose she was in the hospital for something like 3 days. She was on life support. And I guess, she suffered from a lack of oxygen to a certain part of her brain. And so she was on life support. And after about 3 days, her family then decided to unhook her from life support. And she passed away. And I don't know, to me it's unfortunate, it's tragic, and it's, I don't know, I think it is, and it's kind of, for me, I guess, I don't know, I guess because I've had an experience with different family members who got to a point in their lives when, they suffered from a stroke, they had strokes and were in the hospital, but then eventually passed away. And I guess that's why her death has affected me in this way. Though obviously I know death in general affects pretty much all of us in some kind of way, on some kind of level. But I don't know, to me it just seemed like way too tragic. And she was only 34, and that's really not old. That's not old at all. Because I'm in my 30s, I'm 32. I'll be 33 in April 15th. And so she wasn't that much older than me. And I don't know. It just seemed like it's a freak accident that happened to her. And also too, because, I know that from the different things that I saw that she would post about on Instagram, on Twitter, on Snapchat, she was in the process of kind of segueing over into an acting career, and which, obviously a lot of models do that. They start out modeling, then eventually move on to acting. And, obviously, not many models do get to branch out like they want to. But the few that do, then, usually they end up going on to having very long-lasting careers, acting careers, modeling careers. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess, you could probably tell that, you could probably tell just by my voice that, her death has really affected me. In fact, it affected me so much that the same day that I found out, I put together this tribute video to her, using one of my band's original songs. And of course, it's just It's just a